and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something really, really important, knowing what to do when things go wrong. This is your guide to safety and first aid, and we'll go through the essential steps that can help you make a real difference when it counts. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. If someone got hurt right in front of you, right now, would you know what to do? You see, accidents, they don't exactly send an invitation, do they? They can happen anywhere, anytime, and being prepared, well, that changes everything. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get clear on what first aid even means. Then we'll dive into everyday injuries like burns and breaks. After that, we're tackling big emergencies like fires and fainting. Then moving on to bites and poisons, and we'll wrap it all up with staying safe on the road. Ready? Let's go! All right, section 1. Let's start with the absolute basics. What is first aid? What do we really mean when we say immediate help? It's actually quite simple, you know? First aid is just that, the first bit of help you give someone right after they get hurt or fall sick, before a doctor can take over. Think of it as that critical first response that can stop a bad situation from getting worse. It's about providing comfort and keeping things stable in those first few moments. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some very common problems that you might actually come across. Everyday injuries. We're going to focus on burns and breaks. Burns. I think we've all had a small one at some point, right? They can happen so easily. From hot steam while you're cooking in the kitchen, from fire, of course, from certain chemicals, or even a faulty electrical switch. Now, this is super important. You have to know if you're dealing with a minor burn or a severe one. A minor burn, well, the skin gets red, but you probably won't see any blisters. But a severe burn, ooh, that's a whole different story. You'll definitely see blisters, and the skin can get very badly damaged. Knowing the difference is key because it tells you exactly what you need to do next. So if it's a minor burn, your number one job is to cool it down and fast. Get that part under some cold running water or put some ice on it right away. And here's a helpful little tip for after. A simple paste of baking soda and water can give a lot of relief. Okay, now for severe burns, you need to listen very carefully because the rules change completely. What you don't do is just as important. Rule number 1, and please, please remember this, do not prick the blister. No way. That's just asking for a bad infection. Instead, cover the area gently with a clean cloth. Also, if any clothes are stuck to the burn, just leave them be. Don't try to pull them off. If the person seems like they're in shock, have them drink plenty of liquids. And the most important thing of all, a severe burn always needs a doctor, no exceptions. All right, let's switch gears to fractures, or, broken bones. The main idea with first aid here is simple. Stop it from moving around. Any little movement can make the injury much worse. The X-ray, that shows what's happening inside, but on the outside, we use something like a sling to hold everything steady until you can get proper medical help. So how do we stop the movement? You use something called a splint. And listen, you don't need any fancy medical equipment for this. You can get creative. A rolled up newspaper, a sturdy piece of cardboard, even a firm pillow can work as a splint. And for a broken arm, making a sling from a piece of cloth is a great way to give it support. Next up, we're looking at two very different kinds of emergencies, fire and fainting. They're not related, but for both, the key is to stay calm and act fast. Okay, quiz time. Picture this. A fire starts, and it's from spilled petrol. What's the first thing you think of doing? Probably grabbing a bucket of water, right? So, is that the right move? Should you throw water on it? The answer is a huge, absolute never. And here's the quick science lesson on why. Petrol is actually lighter than water. So if you throw water on it, the petrol will just float right on top and whoosh, the fire will flare up and spread all over the place. So what should you do? You need to smother it. Throw lots of sand or mud on it to cut off the oxygen. Now, what if a person's clothes catch on fire? It's a terrifying thought, and their instinct is going to be to run in a panic. You have to stop them. Running is the worst thing they can do. It's like adding wind to the fire. You need to make them stop, drop to the ground, and roll over and over. If you can, grab a thick blanket or a rug and cover them with it to smother the flames. Okay, let's talk about fainting. If someone near you faints, the first thing to do is to gently help them lie down. It helps to keep their head a little low, which gets the blood flowing back to their brain. Loosen any tight clothing, around the neck or waist, and open a window to get some fresh air circulating. And of course, once they're feeling better, they should really see a doctor to find out why it happened.
All right, our next section deals with some scary stuff, I know, but it's important. We're talking about bites and poisons, dangers that can come from outside, but also from right inside our own homes.
A snake bite. Look, this is a major emergency. Every single second counts. The first thing you do is tie a very tight band, like a cloth or a belt, a little bit above the bite. This can help slow the spread of the venom. Now, there are two very important don'ts. Do not let the person lie down, and whatever you do, do not let them fall asleep. Then, get them to a hospital, immediately. No waiting around.
And what about a dog bite? The big danger here is infection, and especially rabies. So job 1, wash that wound thoroughly with soap and lots of running water. After you've cleaned it well, put on some antiseptic and cover it with a clean bandage. And then, yes, you guessed it, you must see a doctor right away. They'll know if anti-rabies injections are needed.
You know, when it comes to poisoning, the best first aid is simply preventing it from ever happening. It just takes a few simple rules at home. Keep all your medicines and chemicals locked up where children can't get to them. Always read the labels before you use anything. Please, never put poisonous things into old drink bottles or other unlabeled containers. And one last simple tip, never take medicine in the dark. It's just too easy to make a mistake. All right, for our final section, let's step outside. We're talking about safety on the road, and a big part of that is reading the signs. Think about it. Road signs are basically talking to you, giving you important messages. They're all there for one reason, to keep you and everyone else safe. Whether it's a stop sign, a school zone warning, or a sign for a speed breaker ahead, you have to follow them. It's not just about obeying a rule. It's about being part of a system that protects all of us. Wow, so we've covered a lot, haven't we? Burns, fractures, fires, bites, and more. You now know the simple, immediate steps you can take in an emergency. You have the knowledge. So the only question I have left for you is this. Now that you know what to do, are you ready to be the person who steps up to help?